Hey friends, welcome back to Llama Mama Kayla's Yarn Tube. I'm Kayla, and guess what? We have power. Lights. Yes, lights. Turn every light in the house on. Turn the air on. Let's celebrate. Yesterday was such a hard day. You know, whenever even for someone who's not sick, whenever you have a day, no electricity, oh yeah, you can make it through it. No big deal, whatever. But let me just say, when you have chronic illness and the heat and just not being able to be comfortable and lots of all that just adds into the factor of not having power. And when you have a chronic illness, it just multiplies, okay? As hard as it is for a person who doesn't have chronic illness, multiply that times 10 for a person who does, okay? And so by Thursday, I just had it, okay? I had enough of it. I was so sick, throwing up. As the day went on, I was just getting sicker and sicker, and I was just throwing up and just having a really, really hard day. I couldn't even finish that video out because every time I would try to, I would just start throwing up. I finally told Big Daddy, I was like, look, just close this video out for me. I don't even care what you say. Just, close it out. So, and then let's weld it together and get it all put together and everything. So he did that for me, thankfully, because I couldn't. I just could not even get it out. It had gotten hotter. Thursday, it had gotten hotter. It was heating up by the minute, I'm telling you. Oh, and my phone has not been charging. And so I ended up going to the AT&T store and sitting up there for a little while. And at least it was cool in there. So we just sat there for a while and charged my phone and talked with the guys up there. And, I told them that my phone's not charging. I need to charge it. And they was like, okay, come sit over here and charge it. So I did. And thankfully, they had a high-powered, fast-charging plug thing. And he let me sit there and use that. And he said, take your time. You don't have to be in any rush. Which was super nice of them. And so that's what we did. And then we came home when we left there. We came on home. We did stop and get something to drink because we knew there wasn't anything to drink at our house. And so we stopped and got something to drink and came on home. Sitting here just hot. Just sweating. And I was not made to sweat, okay? But no, heat does multiply my illnesses and things going on. It just makes me that much sicker. I cannot handle the heat. And they had sent Entergy, had sent a email saying the power was going to be on by 6 p.m., right? 6 p.m. came and went. We did not have power. I checked, and they said Friday at 3 p.m. Oh my gosh, I was just boo-hooing. I was just like, I can't make it. I'm not going to make it. I'm not going to make it till 3 p.m. tomorrow. I said, I'm probably not going to make it through the night. I can't handle this. And so we were just like so disappointed, but we were trying to cope. Got a cold, wet towel and put it around my neck and was just, trying my best to cool off and make it through another night, And so after a while, the electricity just popped on. We were screaming. We were so excited. You would have thought we had just won the lottery or something, and we felt like we had. Oh, it was so awesome when the lights popped back on. I told my neighbor, Zeke's mom, I was like, do you have power? Am I just delusional? Is this really happening? Oh, yes, it was very hard on everyone to not have power, but thankfully we did survive, okay? We survived it, but I'm going to tell you, it did take a toll on me. Like I said, I ended up just so sick and throwing up and just not having a good day at all Thursday. I did not go to the ER. I know lots of you was encouraging me to go to the ER, and I appreciate that so much, but ER is expensive. Going to the ER is expensive, and I just know that an ER doctor is going to say, well, don't eat or drink too much, and don't eat before or drink before you lay down and see your primary doctor. They're not going to do anything for you, because what can they do when you've taken all the medications, all the over-counter medications, all the prescription medications. You're on the 2 strongest medications there are for that. They're just not going to, do anything for you. They're going to be like, oh, I don't know if your GI doctor don't know. We sure don't know. So they're not going to do anything for you. I mean, that's just the way it is. They're going to tell you to follow up, with your doctor. So, but I did talk to my GI doctor. She had sent me a message on my chart telling me about my test, how it was abnormal and all this stuff, like I can already figure that out. But she sent me a message. I can't tell if that's a new stitch or if that's one I just crocheted in. So anyway, I was messaging back and forth with her, and then at one point she tried to call me, but I had went in the bathroom and was throwing up and didn't know she tried to call me until later. So, and I guess she had probably already left for the day or something by then, so I didn't get to talk to her, but maybe she'll try to call me today, because, and I did send her a message back and told her I missed her call because I was in the bathroom throwing up. So, maybe she'll call me back on Friday. Hold on 1 second. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I think it's supposed to be. What? I lost some stitches somewhere. Let me count them. I'm going to look at my magnifying glass. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I was supposed to have 9. Supposed to have 9, so I lost a stitch, and I'm going to pull it out because I have to make 2 of these arms that are the same size, so I need to pull it out and figure out where I lost a stitch at so that they can each match the 2 arms. Let me see if this next row, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 8. I'm sorry, let me count this real quick because I don't want to go forward. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That might be 9. I gotta count it one more time. It's so hard with this plush yarn to see stitches, so you have to really feel them to know, that you're getting them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, I have 9 stitches there. And a whole bunch of fuzz hair. A whole bunch of old lady gray hair. I wonder where that came from. Alright, so anyway, yeah, maybe she'll call me back, and we can figure out what I need to do. Because she did seem concerned and was asking me questions. And then, like I said, I was sick as a dog while I was talking to her. And I had jumped up and ran to the bathroom to throw up when she had called. And when I came back and looked at my phone again to see if she had sent another message on my chart, I saw that she had tried to call. So, anyway, just having power has done me a world of good, I'm telling you. Even though I still hadn't been able to lay down and go to sleep, I've sat in my computer chair here and dozed a little bit. But it will be so nice. It would be so nice to lay down in the bed and sleep for a couple hours without being so sick. Anyway, one more stitch on that row. What are you guys up to today? It's Friday, so what kind of plans do you have for the weekend? Well, I plan to take it easy. I plan to work on some crochet projects. And I just plan to be thankful for life. And be thankful I made it through that. Because it was really rough on me. It did take a toll. It took a toll on my health for sure. And that's just the way it is. Going without power and being hot, that's hard enough for someone without chronic illness. You add chronic illnesses, more than one, on top of that, and it really, really does get unbearable. So anyway, I might see Eva this weekend. We're hoping to plan something and pull that off. So hopefully we'll do that. We plan to crochet together and let our husbands possibly fish together. So that's what we're looking at and hoping for. I'm hoping for it. I need it. I need to see Eva. So this is a hand. You can see the little thumb. That's a bobble stitch with 5 loops. I guess sometimes, thankfully this pattern did say how many loops. Sometimes a pattern might say a bobble stitch with 6 loops. A bobble stitch with 5 loops. Or a bobble stitch with 4 loops. So thankfully the pattern did say 5, because at first I was thinking I had to get 6 loops on there, and then I scrolled back up and looked at something on the pattern, and it said 5 loops, and I was like, oh, I already have enough loops. The cats are running around like crazy. Right now they're playing. They have a toy, and one of them has it, runs with it, and the other one chases them, and they get it, and then they're running, and they're just taking turns chasing each other with that toy. Silly cats. And Phoebe is in her puppy bed asleep. She after the power came on, I sat in the den with Big Daddy for a little bit just to cool off and let the whole house cool off. And she sat back there with us and got her lovin's in, so she's good. She is good. She has to get her lovin's, but the cats are just playing right now. They're not paying attention to anyone. Big Daddy is asleep. He did miss some work this week because he, couldn't get a shower, sitting here sweating. He needed a shower before he could go to work. Plus, he didn't sleep because he didn't have the CPAP machine. So every time he would doze off and fall asleep, he would wake up not breathing. And he just couldn't sleep without that CPAP machine. But I thank you all so very much for your love, support, your prayers, your thoughts. I appreciate you all so much. It's been a really, really hard week on me and Big Daddy. He said, he told the other guy at the AT&T store that he was tired of camping. Even if it's in the house, it's too much like camping. He said he's tired of it. We were not made for camping. Now, he used to be a Boy Scout, and so, he did his time with camping. And me and our boys, we used to go camping a lot. Sometimes Big Daddy would go with us, and sometimes he wouldn't. It depends on where we were going, because, he has to have a CPAP machine. And so he didn't always go, and sometimes he was working graveyard or something like that and didn't go, but me and the boys used to go camping and enjoy it and have fun. But those days are behind me. I'm not into camping. Let me just tell y'all this. On YouTube, I watch a lot of van life videos, okay? And in my mind, I'm thinking, oh, that would be cool to travel like that. Okay, I'm just going to tell y'all right now that I could not handle that. I could not do it. I would not be able to live up to that. There's just no way. It's nice to think we can do something, and then reality comes along and slaps us in the face and is like, what are you thinking, fat woman? You can't do that. Oh, gosh. Yep. A lot of times, I think I can do a lot of things, and then my body's like, haha, you just thought you could. No, I have no desire to live in a van, but I just think it would be neat to travel and come back home. Just travel, because, that would be a lot cheaper than hotels and things like that. But, yeah, that's not happening. That's not reality. That's a pipe dream for sure. Too funny. And I thought about that Thursday when we were in the car, and I was so sick. We had the air on in the car, but it just turned out to be a really hot day. And the parking lots were hot that we were parked in, and, I thought about that. I would never be able to live in the van. Not that I need to or even really wanted to. I just thought it would be kind of cool. It would be a cool way to travel. But having power on has done a wonder for my mental state, okay? It has. It has done wonders for my mental health, just having power back on. I'm sure y'all know what I'm talking about. And just sitting here, your head throbbing because it's so hot. We survived. We survived. Uh-oh, I need to get my yarn up there. Excuse me. Yeah, like I said, we're going to try to hook up with Eva and her husband this weekend and let the guy folks do a little fishing, and me and Eva do a little crocheting and chatting, so that would be nice. Just to, pack up our chairs and some cold drinks and go hang out. I hope wherever we go has a restroom, though. That is a must, to have a restroom. So yeah, don't forget to tell me what's your plans for the weekend. Do you have a weekend project you're going to work on? I do hope to get this octopus finished this weekend. What else is on my desk? I'm not going to finish Barbie this weekend. I'm going to save those for next week. I might just work on this some. It's a doll, of course, because it has a brown, an arm. And I have to make 2 of them, so obviously it is some type of doll. But I'll show you guys. I noticed, I learned a lesson not to say what I'm making until I'm actually almost done making it. Because some people will pop out there and make it real quick and put it out. And I'm like, I was making that. So, I won't say what I'm making just yet until I am almost done making it. It's just something you have to learn in the YouTube world. What is it? What have I got? One more stitch. I gotta stuff this arm. I think that's the last. I think that's the last row of this arm. It needs to be. But mainly I wanted to pop on here and tell you all that we have power and we're so thankful. We are, that's something we take for granted every day. You flip that light switch and you don't think nothing about it. Well, when you flip that light switch 10 times in one day and it does not come on, you think a lot about it. Yes, I hit that light switch, any of them. I hit all the light switches over and over and over. Even though I knew the lights were out, just automatically you reach up and hit the light switch. Because that's what you're trained to do. And when it don't come on. Now we had some lanterns and we had some little solar lights that you can get at Dollar Tree for, $1.25. They usually have them right up front at my stores. They're the little solar light things you put in the ground. Like, they're kind of like this. Well, is there one on my desk? No, they're over there. You just put them in the ground like this. And this part up here is a light. Well, during the day, we would put those outside in the sunlight. And then at night, bring them in the house. Now, we didn't have them poked in the ground. They've never been. They've been in a drawer next to my front door because that's what I use them as, is when electricity's off. Put them outside, bring them in at night. We just lay them on a little table out there. And our lanterns are the same way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I just wonder if I missed a row. I'm supposed to have 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I do have 12. Okay. Anyway, so that's what I've been using. Was those little lanterns, little things from Dollar Tree, those little night yard light things. And then you just lay them around your house and put them in front of mirrors. If you need them in a room where there's a mirror, put them in front of that mirror and it reflects it and brightens it up really well. And then we had those lanterns and we just carry them around with us from room to room. And that seemed to get us through, although it didn't make it easier. But yeah, we do take having electricity for granted. By all means, we do. We all do. Even if you don't think you do, you do. Now I'm supposed to close this up by single crocheting, but I need to figure out where this needs to be before I do that, so I don't, fold it the wrong way there. Alright, well anyway guys, I'm going to check out this pattern a little bit more and figure this out. So friends, I'm back. What did you get accomplished today? Did you get some crocheting done? Did you get housework done? What did you get done? I got 2 arms done. I got 2 arms done, and that is all the crocheting I have done. I did go in my yarn room and pulled out some whips, and I took all the whips to my living room. Paige helped me do that. So I got all the whips to the living room, and I'm just organizing my yarn and putting like yarn together, such as this is Premier Parfait Chunky. So I'm putting all that type of yarn together, all the Premier Chenille yarn together, my Snuggle, Sweet Snuggles Light together, all that kind of yarn that could be used together to make projects. Putting that all together, because it's really hard to say you want to make a project, but you got to look here to see what colors you got, and got to look over here to see what colors you got, you know, and you're not looking all in the same place. I mean, your yarn's not in the same place, so you can't see, okay, I have this color, I need, you know, I don't have that color, so I can't do that project, or whatever, you know, because it's bad when you start a project and then realize that you don't have all the colors that you need. So I worked on that. Paige helped pull all that out of my yarn room. Then it was time for her to go, and so I have a huge mess. But I was able to lay down and take a little bit of a nap. I probably got 3 hours of sleep. Now, I had been up since 10 o'clock Thursday, 10 a.m. Thursday. And so I finally laid down probably about 1, and I was able to get about 3 hours sleep before I started refluxing. We did put baking soda in my morning meds, so maybe that helped me some. I'm still experimenting with that. But we put a half a teaspoon of baking soda in with my morning medications. And I'm going to continue to try that some and just experiment with it and see, you know, if that helps. Wonderful, wonderful. I will eat a whole box of baking soda. Anyway, so I did get about 3 hours sleep. I feel like I could use about 100 more. Being without electricity just did me in. It wore me completely out. But yeah, this is all the crocheting I got done today. And next, I'm going to be organizing in my yarn room. And like I said, getting like yarns together and working on that. It's a process. It's a slow process. And Big Daddy has been going in there and getting yarn off my yarn wall and cranking out tubes, you know, in different colors and such. And so I need to fill all them spaces in because he's created a lot of holes. I told him, just slow down, slow down. I got to catch up with you. I've got projects he's cranked out. I just, you know, don't have enough hours in the day to get all those projects done. So I told him to slow down, buddy. Slow your roll. I did get my graduation card in from my niece in Mississippi on the informed delivery from USPS. Is that what it is? United States Post Office, USPO? I don't know. They only scanned the one that was addressed to Dakota. And so I was like, well, only Dakota's getting one. But there was an envelope for me and Big Daddy. And also, there was one for Elijah. But my friend Angela, she got one. And then and she called and told me that she got one from Hannah, my great niece. And then I was like, well, I didn't get one. Dakota did. Anyway, it looks like she's having a graduation party. And then her graduation card. This is the only graduation invitation I've gotten this year so far. And so that's nice. She's in Vicksburg, Mississippi. And then here is her graduation photo. She is so beautiful. Hannah Faith. She was a complete surprise to us all. Her mother did not know she was expecting. And you might be like, how did she not know that? Well, she didn't know. Her and her husband had been married for a little while, but they kept saying, no, they were going to wait. They were going to wait, a little while before they had children. Oh, look at that. Her kindergarten, her kindergarten graduation photo, and then her high school graduation photo. She's always been such a little character. She would come over to the house and say, take my picture. And she would want me and Dakota to take pictures of her and give her stuff as a prop and all that. And then she'd say, give me something else. Give me something else. So we'd give her like teddy bears and stuff like that and take pictures of her with them. And she'd put it down and say, give me something else. And so that's the way we say something. We say something else. Anyway, so my niece Jennifer was a manager at Walgreens. It wasn't Walgreens then. Maybe it was Eckerd's. It was a pharmacy store. And she was at work. She was hurting really bad. An employee didn't come in. She ended up having to empty a whole liquor truck by herself. It was a load of liquor bottles and stuff that had come in, and she had to unload the truck herself. And she was hurting really bad. And as the day went on, the afternoon went on, she just was getting worse and worse, hurting and hurting. And she finally got off work and got home, and she told my sister, how bad she was hurting. My sister said, I bet you got a UTI, and the only way you're going to get rid of that is get medication. And she said, if it gets worse, we'll go to the ER. And so it got worse as the night went on. And so she took her to the ER, and they said, after a while, they come in there and they said, honey, you're pregnant. And my sister was back there with her, but my niece Jennifer's husband was out in the waiting room. And so they called him in there and told him that they were going to have a baby. And he's like, when? And they're like, now. And he was like, no, we found out now, but when is the baby going to come? And they're like, now. They completely did not know that Jennifer was expecting. And my sister called me. It was about midnight. I had already put my kids to bed. I had taken my night meds. I mean, this was 18 years ago. At least. Well, Hannah just turned 18 in April. So, yeah, it was 18 years ago in April. And my sister called me screaming in the phone, we're having a baby. And I was like, what? Who's having a baby? And she's like, Jennifer. And I was like, oh, okay. Well, when? When did they find out? When's the baby due? And I'm just asking questions like that. She's like, now, tonight, we're having a baby. And I was just like, what? That's crazy. Jennifer's not even pregnant. And she's like, yeah, she is. And so I got my kids up and dressed, got their stuff together, a few little toys, snacks, whatever. And we jumped in the van and took off to another town where they had went to the hospital, where they lived, and went to the hospital. Big Daddy was at work on graveyard, working the graveyard shift, 11 p.m. to 7 a.m. or whatever. I got my kids together and we got in the van and took off and went and sat up there and waited on Hannah to be born. I mean, they didn't have a name for a baby or anything because they didn't even, you know, have a baby. So she came up with the name Hannah Faith. And then the next day, after Big Daddy, he had worked off his shift and come home and slept some. And then we went to town and got some baby stuff for a baby girl. Because she had nothing. I mean, zero, not one thing for a baby. And we went and got, you know, diapers and bottles and wipes and little outfits and all that kind of stuff that you would need for a brand new baby when you don't have nothing. And went to the hospital. Took it all up there to her. But yeah, that's Hannah Faith, and that's how she came about. And then my niece Jennifer, she has another, her next child is going to be 5 this summer. They waited a long, long time before they had another baby. And Hazel will be 5 this summer. So she's got one just graduating high school and one will be starting kindergarten next fall. Hazel does go to a 4K preschool type thing this year. But yeah, she'll start kindergarten next year after Hannah has graduated high school. Jennifer's going to have a baby in high school for a long time. But anyway, that's the story of how we got Hannah Faith. And now she's graduating high school. She has always been a little character. And she was my sister's. She was the apple of my sister's eye. Okay, let me just tell you. My sister never said the word no to this baby right here. She never heard the word no. She probably didn't even know what no meant. But my sister passed away in 2020, and she would be so dang proud of Hannah. So we're going to try to go, I don't know, we was going to try to go to her graduation, but now I see she's having a graduation party here after the graduation, like the graduation's on Thursday, and she's having a party on Sunday, so we should just wait and go to the graduation party. I don't know. I'll talk to Big Daddy about it and see if any of my kids plan on going or anything like that. But anyway, guys, I hope you all have a great weekend. I'll be back. Stick around. We'll be back. Check back. If you don't get notifications from YouTube, because sometimes they don't do that, check back and see, because there will be videos. And I don't think we're going fishing with Eva and her husband Johnny because it's going to rain. I think we're at like almost 90% chance of rain. So I doubt that happens, unfortunately. I was looking forward to that. Not the fishing part, but just the hanging out with Eva part. But, and then she has something next weekend. And then we have something too next weekend. So maybe another weekend. But I wanted to go and do that before it got too hot. You know, it would have been a nice weather type weekend to go, except for now it's going to be raining. Alright guys, I appreciate you all so very much, and like I said, I hope you have a great weekend, and I'll see you in the next video, friends. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. I hope you had a great day. I hope your weekend is wonderful, and remember, it's a beautiful day to crochet, no matter if it's pouring down rain or sun shining bright. It's always a beautiful day to crochet and do anything else that brings you happiness and joy.